Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks. It's the one and only V, the Gorilla Economist, coming to you live on this edition of Rogue News in the Morning with my main man, LCJ. El Cuco, a.k.a. CJ, the producer. And we have with us our main man of the hour, Gus Demas. He needs no introduction. He's the one and only silver-tongued Grecian. You can check him out over at perpetualassets.com. Perpetualassets.com. If you are terrified of communists taking your 401k and turning it into a 101k, and you are worried about the confiscation and wealth redistribution that could possibly happen, then you need to go ahead and reach out to one of our comrades over at Perpetual Assets, either Will or Gus, and they'll help you. What's going on, gentlemen?
Dude, that was now that it's all come clear. No, dude, I told TJ I've joined them, dude. I'm one of them.
You've officially become a commie.
Dude, 100%, dude.
Nice.
The only thing that's left is I have to pick my gender. I haven't. I can't. I'm kind of excited about it. Like I don't even know how many are they up to. 300 genders. And I was telling my buddies about it. I'm like, if they send us to gulags or the FBI comes knocking, like, do I get to pick my gender? Because I could be running a woman's prison in 5 minutes. So if I go that direction, then yeah, I mean, I'll be in charge. I'll be like, I'll come in. I'll be the queen of the prison within hours. It'll be fantastic. So yeah, dude, it's all. Did you guys look at that fucking bulk ammo link, dude? It's fucking hilarious.
I love it. It reminded me of I don't know if you saw the link that I sent back to you guys with Chris Rock and Bullet Control.
Dude,
it was a classic moment.
I thought this last year being in crypto was a good idea, but when this shit all first started, you could find a 9mm bullet for fucking 20 cents, 25 cents. Now they're up over a fucking $1 or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty fucking wild. It really is wild. And I was telling CJ, we tried to like chill out and pay attention the last week, but we've been so slammed with fucking work. Dude, crypto's fucking insane. I mean, I think Bitcoin hit 36,000 last night.
Yeah, we're gonna blow past 50K. I sense it. Chaos is coming, and dude, it's a full court press right now against this country. A full court press.
And that's what I was telling CJ. I'm like, I before I knew it, I was on trade calls all day yesterday. And before I knew it, it was like 4 p.m. Pacific time, and the Georgia numbers started coming in. So I started drinking heavily as fuck. But I couldn't, and I finally ate something. But I couldn't sleep either, dude. I blacked out on my couch, and I woke up at like 5 a.m., like tossing and turning, having to piss, and dehydrated, obviously.
Gus, look at that comment regarding you running the women's prison. Did you see that comment? Making us save money on clothes.
Dude,
well, some of them maybe.
Dude, whatever Comrade Kamala tells me to do, I'll do. Obviously, I'm in the party now. I don't have a fucking choice, So I have to learn all we've been talking so much shit the last 4 years about these people that I think our advantage is we know them better than they know themselves. Like how well do we know the woke lingo and all the rest, all the commie bullshit? Like we know it so well, so it won't be hard for us to come in. I'm sure they'll welcome us with open arms.
Sure. So you know what, guys? The hot topic of the moment is the Georgia elections. And I'd like your take on it, Gus, as well as you.
What elections?
I think it is
like the ones in Venezuela. What the fuck are you talking? Ever like, we got a Georgia election? I'm like, dude, what election, suckers? We don't have elections in this country, you fucking shitheads. What election? The Georgia election, dude. Trump even just tweeted. I sent you guys the screenshots. He goes, they're gonna. Trump said last night, he tweeted something about they're gonna shut it down again and pull middle of the night shit, and then Breaking 911 reported they're gonna shut the dudes. Come on, dude. And then he just tweeted again. I guess they found 50,000 votes somewhere. Like, of course they did.
And they found 50,000 votes somewhere. So how does he? Here's the funny thing, right?
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Yeah, we all know. the only that's why I'm laughing. You have to laugh because it's not hard it hasn't been hard to predict the fucking future. Like if they get away with it once, why wouldn't they do it forever for infinity? Like no one's in handcuffs, no one got arrested. This is the new model. Why wouldn't they do it? Like I would do it. So if you're like, if I had a fucking get out of jail free card, be like, Gus, you could just start walking into banks and demanding they start handing over cash to you, and nothing will happen to you. I'll be like, oh fuck, I'm gonna do that every day. Like
all the time.
Yeah, like this is a great business model. How do I do this? They steal elections. Count them in the middle of the night. Boxes coming in, burst pipe, whatever the fuck you want, they'll do it. Like, yeah,
can't beat them, join them.
Yeah, but do this. The one thing, it's more than about the Democrats and commies, no violence. When they have power, they really know how to wield it. Oh, yeah. Like you're gonna have you're gonna have fucking 12-year-olds voting in 2 years. Like they're gonna Detroit will be a state. There'll be 85 Supreme Court justices. Like fuck it, burn it all, burn it all, motherfuckers. Dude, you said it best, bro. Honestly, when you were like, Trump wasn't gonna fix the money printing and the colossal clusterfuck and all of it, but he would buy us time. When you said that, and you've been saying it for a while, you're like, this guy could buy us some time. Yeah. But when you look at everything that's happened in the last 4 years, and especially in 2020, it just wasn't enough. Like think about all the shit they've done and all the damage in plain sight. Like it was so bad. The cancer is so deep and so bad, and the establishment and the Republicans are in on it too.
They're idiots.
Yeah, dude, they're in on it. Like it's clear.
Hold that thought for a second. I have something to play on this momentous occasion because this is a very special day in Georgia, and I want to play this. Here we go.
Dude, I cannot. I'm gonna take it a step further. All of them wear Che t-shirts. I'm going straight Stalin t-shirts. So I'm gonna buy like
Che. Che was weak, man.
Che wasn't Mao. Mao's the play. Mao's the play. I'll get, dude.
You gotta get a Mao shirt because you gotta show your solidarity with CCP, bro.
It's the only thing I'm gonna wear. I'm gonna get shirts.
Speaking of Mao, what has anyone seen Jack Ma?
That's why I was like, dude, we're gonna be China Light in months, and you're like, dude,
that's why I texted you back because we're not gonna be China Light. We're gonna be Pol Pot's Cambodia. What are you talking about?
Well, think about it. What's the dude worth? 20, 40, 50 billion or something? Like if they could vanish him, they could vanish anyone. Like that tells you where this is going. Like where right now you feel protected or whatever, but no, if they could, well, we've been saying it forever. If they could do this to the president, what plans do they have for the rest of us? Like, dude, out of all the things that happened in the last 40 hours, you know what I saw that really it didn't discourage me. It let me know, it kind of helped me accept this reality of what's taking place now and where we are and where this is all going. Is when they arrested Enrique, the chair of the guy running the Proud Boys. He's like a Hispanic black dude, by the way.
Yeah, well, he's a white supremacist.
Yeah, dude, he's Hitler. Yeah,
he's a black Hispanic,
black Puerto Rican fucking Hitler or something, whatever the fuck they're
Cuban.
So they arrest him on a misdemeanor charge, and then they exile him from going to Washington, D.C. So they arrest him, and the arrest was for taking the Antifa flag months ago or weeks ago, whatever the fuck it was. So it's this total Antifa burns down the country for 9 months. Nothing happens. The Proud Boy, the founder, he's not the founder, Gavin is, but the head of the Proud Boys gets arrested right when he enters D.C. before today's shit even happens on a misdemeanor for property for the Antifa flag. And then the judge, to bond him out, to get to during his bond hearing, the judge exiles him from the nation's capital. That should tell you exactly.
Only certain people are allowed in the capital, just like in North Korea. You only have to be a certain class to live in Pyongyang.
The establishment's in on it. The judiciary's in on it. The mayors are in on it. When you see that, when you see the nation burn and get enslaved for a year, backed by these people, and then you see a leader on our side getting arrested. Dude, they're like obviously surveilling the fucking guy, right? So they pluck him right when he gets in there. They arrest him on a misdemeanor, and he gets exiled from the city during a bond hearing. I've never even heard of. Dude, that's banana republic shit. Like that is total banana republic shit. Like you get a judge exiling someone from the nation's capital for a misdemeanor. What the fuck's going on? You don't. That's when it kind of like hit. I'm like, holy shit, it's fucking over, motherfuckers. Like,
what's that, CJ?
Sorry, keep talking. This is just in regards to what happened with Enrique. So yesterday they actually repeated the same thing that he did, and that was actually burning the BLM flag. And I tell you what, going forward, I think that patriots are going to make all these politicians feel very uncomfortable. In part, and you alluded to this yesterday, to actually watch and witness the destruction of the Republican Party.
You can't burn the. You can't. You're not allowed to burn the Antifa flag.
Here's the thing, guys.
You can only burn churches, dude. You can't burn the Antifa flag.
No, or the BLM flag. Play that thing with Scheuer and that flag siege. I don't know how long that clip is.
Gavin McInnes had to step aside. So my good friend Taylor here is going to do a little Black Lives Matter enrichment ceremony.
Woo! Yeah! Fuck yeah!
So who wants to see this flag?
Yeah!
That sends the wrong message.
BLM sucks! 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 Yeah! Yeah! Woo! Hey, step on it! Get a little dirt on it! Yeah!
Shout out to Tara, Polish American.
Fuck Antifa! Fuck BLM! Yeah!
Oh, the optics are so wrong.
Oh, put him in a gulag. Put him in a gulag. What are you doing?
They screwed up on that one.
Yeah! Yeah!
See, if they were smart, this is why they need a cunning tactician coordinating this bullshit. If they were smart, they would have had a black conservative burn that, right? So what is this going to portray to the average tone or the person who's unaware? They just helped CNN, MSLSD, the media help further portray Trump supporters as a bunch of white racist, bigots.
Yeah,
I think they screwed up.
I think we're way past
that.
I don't think.
No, we are way past that. You're right. We're way past that.
Like I said, when they're fucking surveilling people before they enter a city, and it's fucking insane. Like I said, it caught me as, holy shit, let me get this straight. Let me get this straight because I'm a little slow. These commie motherfuckers have burned the country down for 6 fucking months. And we've been told by the FBI and the Department of Justice and all the Democrats that we're just imagining this. It's not even happening. None of it's happened. There are city blocks, churches, old ladies being pulled out of cars. None of it really happened. We just imagined it all. And then the ones they're surveilling are the Proud Boys the whole time. Like they pluck the fucking guy right when he gets into the city and then exile him from the city. Yeah. Dude, you're dealing with a fucking banana republic. It's already here. Like we're like, oh, we got to prevent this. We got to prevent this. There's nothing to prevent. It's already occurred. We've just been in denial about it. Like it's a total, and that's why when you're like, oh, all eyes on Georgia. Dude, it's a fucking banana. You're not paying attention. It's a banana republic already. The only thing left is disarming us. That's the only thing I see left. And when I look at the whole fucking chessboard and I'm like, if I were them, what would I do next? Given everything we've seen the last 4 years, what would I do next? The only thing left is disarming the slaves. They got to disarm us. That's the only thing I see left, because everything else has went their direction. Like they starved us out. They've enslaved us. Blah blah blah. Go down the fucking list. They steal elections. Fuck you. Commie revolution. Fuck you. Blah 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 blah. Now let's disarm these motherfuckers, because that's the only thing left. It's if we're disarmed, forget about it, dude. We're fucking. It's really over. If they come hammering down like on that, yeah, I don't want to be right about it. And I've heard people say that's hyperbole. That's never going to happen. That's hyperbole. It's never going to happen. Previously, I would have agreed with you, because I'd look back and say, all right, Democrats have ran shit before. All right, it's not the first time. If they've ran shit before and we still have guns in this country. I'd say that was before 2020. 2020 is all their chips are in. They're all in. Like the mask has totally slipped. 2008 when Obama got in, or 92 when Clinton got in, they didn't pull off. 2020 is a different type of 2020 was a different type of year where their mask came off. They're like, fuck it, we're going all in on the totalitarian, on the Orwellian fucking dystopia. So in the past, people freaked out before when gun owners have freaked out before when Democrats have gotten in, and they're saying, but this time, I think this time is different because 2020 was different. They put all their chips in the table. They said, we're all in, fuck it, let's fucking tear this motherfucker down. That's why I think, I see them trying to disarm us next. It's the only thing that makes sense. If I was on their side, that's what I'd be screaming for. Disarm them. Fuck it. Like buyback, confiscation, something. What am I talking about? I am on their side now, comrade.
Relax, comrade. You are on their side.
Yeah, I'm again. Just gotta pick my knees.
Well, I tell you what the crazy thing is now that we're sitting here like watching law enforcement, and I'm not saying all of them, but in Washington D.C. we had another situation in another state where literally the police came to the defense of Antifa, of these terrorist organizations, and literally saved them from the Patriots. And it happened again last night where there was a Antifa that struck, one of the Patriots that was protesting, and they were like, arrest a dude. He like obviously attacked him. And then when the Patriots went to go take action and literally like smash Antifa, the police came to the defense of Antifa, where Antifa were like hiding behind them. And like, these Marines have it right. They're like, you know what? We're no longer going to back the blue. Are you kidding me? If you're not going to sit there and be able to make
they're getting black and blue. That's what's happening.
Yeah. If the law enforcement officers in our country cannot decide between patriots and tyrants, then shame on them, and they're fair game. I mean, I hate to be that radical, but this is getting ridiculous where you see people they're committing crimes and openly the police are defending them. And at the same time, by the way, letting them burn down the cities in America and do nothing.
I've been saying it forever. In 100 since fucking Lenin and Trotsky, in 100 years, commies never want to get rid of police. They simply want to control them. Period. This is never the defund the police. That was all for the retarded fucking people on the streets. Defund the police. Defund the police. Blah, 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 blah. They don't want to defund the police. They want to control the police. Always, 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 always. You control the police. You control who lives or dies in the streets. It's just that simple. And now, especially in Democratic blue areas where it's not, elected sheriffs like DC, for example. Sorry, I gotta fucking mute that. They control the police, which ties in, CJ, to what I just told you about them getting the Proud Boy at the fucking border. Like it doesn't matter if it was doesn't matter which jurisdiction. It could have been the feds, could have been the Metro Police. The fact that they're surveilling this guy, it fucking bothers me to no avail. And same thing in other blue areas. The police are protecting Antifa. Like you'll see I think there was some footage of this Antifa little commie twat was shooting a paintball gun right by he was standing or sitting right next to the police shooting a paintball gun at conservatives, and the police were protecting him from the conservatives, and he was the aggressor. Dude, they control them. Where they control them, they've always wanted to control them. That's what this is all about. Then someone brought up a point. Remember there was a dude in Ohio, I think, or Michigan, where they went to his house, and the police showed up and arrested him because he showed a shotgun from out the window. So there was like 50 or 100 BLM and Antifa people outside of the dude's house, and he simply brandished a shotgun inside his property.
I remember that.
From the window. The cops showed up, arrested the guy, not the commies, and all the fucking little parasites started cheering for the cops. Wait, so let me get this straight. You're not about defunding the police. You're not anti-police. You just want police attacking conservatives. That's what this is all about. They want the police on their side. That way we get enforcement. We get enforced upon. They do. And again, that's when I look at the Proud Boy versus Antifa thing, it's hilarious because, like I said, if you're a Proud Boy, if you're conservative and you spit on a sidewalk, you're getting handcuffs. If you're Antifa or BLM and you burn down a church, it's all good. Shit happens. It's peaceful protesting. It's peaceful protesting. Dude, we're fucked. It's a banana republic. Like, we're fucked. So I've just come to terms with it. Like, it's like, it is what it is.
I can't remember who sent this via text, but Gus, did you send this in regards to these former Marines and their comments when this took place last night? I can't remember. Somebody did.
Yeah, put it up.
Yeah, here we go.
Because you don't want to fucking protect the Constitution. So you lost both sides of support. We had your fucking back, but we ain't got your back. We're the business owners. We're the veterans. We're the veterans. We're the business owners.
That's
we
right.
But we ain't got your back no more.
That's right.
We don't got your back no more.
That's right.
Because you don't got our back.
Heads are gonna roll. Those heads are gonna roll.
So we had your back.
Fucking heads are gonna roll.
Have ours. And so now you don't have ours. So now I'm a Marine. I know we got other
Hoorah,
people here. We ain't got your back no more.
Yeah. Fucking 6
You
week
better
fucking
have our
DC
back,
trade
and you better have our back, or we're gonna fucking show you.
Yep.
Let
me explain that. There's a lot of pissed off guys, man.
You're gonna see. Here's the funniest thing you're gonna see today.
Narcos season 2.
No. Here's the funniest thing. If you really want to witness humor today, here's the fun, and I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. If you really want to witness humor today, watch MSNBC and CNN, and watch how pro cop they are and how pro law and order they are. So what's going to happen?
You called it.
Suddenly, Republicans, patriots, they're all domestic terrorists now. It's no longer peaceful protesting. Protesting is now domestic terrorism. Now, because the narrative's going to shift, and MSNBC and CNN are going to be like, "How dare they talk to police? How dare they do?" So the commies burn the country down for 6 months, peaceful protests. It's not happening, and now you're going to see the Twitter, Facebook. You're going to see tech and media shift and say, "This is all domestic terrorism. These guys are terrorists. They need to be locked up." It's exactly what's going to happen, dude.
It's lockstep. I mean, they've already got the narrative pegged.
100%. Dude, they did the same shit for the Tea Party when Obama was in 08, 09. Domestic terrorists, blah, blah, blah. Again, you had Ray and those fucking cunts saying, we're the problem months ago.
I mean, Ray said it. I mean, it's white supremacists are the biggest threat. To the Republic, not Antifa, not anything else.
Yeah, of course, dude. That's what I mean. So the labels are gonna shift now. Suddenly, the mainstream media and big tech are gonna love police and all of it. Like it's fucking, dude. It's all fucking hilarious. Again, man, it's astounding to see play out, and I don't know what's gonna happen today. Anything's possible today, really.
CJ, is Trump speaking right now?
I'll go look and see real quick.
Yeah, because looking at this strategically, right? I was talking to a cohort of mine, and we were looking at the Georgia thing. You see, the agreement going into the Georgia election, supposedly, that was been discussed with.
Can change everything.
Well, what was that, CJ? Is that the drug advertisement?
It's something.
Okay. Anyway, the agreement that was discussed between McConnell, Pelosi, Schumer, leaders of the DNC and the RNC, was that the establishment Republicrats were going to back the establishment Democrats in the ouster of Trump. But in so much as they would allow two swamp creatures, which was Loeffler, and if you know anything about Loeffler, she's another NPC, a non-playable character. I thought I couldn't find anybody worse of an NPC than Martha McSally in Arizona, but lo and behold, here comes Kelly Loeffler. She's useless. She's done nothing. She has no background in politics whatsoever. She's a senator by choice of the governor of Georgia, who was given that choice because Loeffler's husband is the CEO of the New York Stock Exchange. And she lost. She was a swamp creature. And then you're going to have that other guy, David Perdue, another swamp creature. So the bet that was made, the agreement that was made, was that Perdue and Loeffler will get in, and as long as they get in order to control the Senate, that they would go ahead and work with the DNC in order to get rid of Trump. Well, it seems as if, Gus, that the DNC couldn't help themselves. Because if you cheat once, it becomes very contagious. It becomes very addicting to do it again. And that's exactly what happened. So what type of political ramifications will come out today? Will those who were committed to ousting Trump based on a predetermined agreement now go back against this agreement and work against the Democrats? Who knows? Who knows? But one thing I do know is that the left fights hard, buddy.
Sorry, I was taking a piss. It's not.
Thanks, man.
Well, I muted it.
I was pouring on my heart over here.
No, I was listening. I just muted it so you didn't hear the. I didn't want anyone to fucking hear the. There's a. I don't want to go off on a tangent. There's a skit in The Last Emperor, the movie, where he refuses to piss in the porcelain. He pisses in the water intentionally because he was raised to be an emperor. Anyway, I digress.
I need to go fix a drink. He just pissed, but I need to go fix a drink. I'll be back, man.
So you think it was all worked out and the Democrats stabbed them in the back? Is that where you're going? Well,
that's what some of the info that's coming out is stating, and I kind of became privy to it last night, and I tweeted out even before the results were coming out that okay, this is I would explain this because I was talking to a cohort of mine, and this is kind of what was discussed behind the scenes between McConnell and some of the leadership over the Democratic Party.
It's possible, but let me, and here's what I've given some serious thought to the last 48 hours, 72 hours, is honestly, bro, we have kind of bought into fighting for the establishment ourselves. I think our cheering for Trump made us supportive of mainstream establishment GOP figures the last 4 years. And I don't even know if we knew we were doing it. Doesn't matter if it was from the Supreme Court appointments to senators to blah, blah, blah. So we've supported these swamp creatures ourselves. And I've thought about.
Are you talking about me, Gus? Are you talking about me? No,
you might be the exception. I was actually like, I'll give you an example. This pertains to me personally. I was cheering on Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett. Like I was like, cheering them on when it was going on in the last 4 years. And at the end of the day, what difference did it make? Like when you needed the Supreme Court to come through, they were nowhere to be found. Like they, wouldn't even listen to the Texas fucking lawsuit. So we've support, again, maybe CJ's exempt from this, but I've supported and others have supported Main Street GOP establishment types the last 4 years because just to ride the Trump's back into it all. And what happened at the end of the day? They nothing. Like they won't even wield the power they have. Like if you don't got our back, like what the fuck are we doing here? Like you're supposed to be protecting me, my property, my freedom, my ability to own firearms. You're supposed to be protecting me. Where the fuck are you guys? Like we've been caged in this country's been caged for 11 fucking months or 10 months, whatever the fuck it is. Like where the fuck are you people? So if they don't have our back, what fucking difference does it make? Well, like we lost Georgia. Like fucking cares? Did the two senators in fucking Georgia open up California last week and no one told me? Like who fucking cares? The only thing that's going to change is maybe we become felons overnight over some fucking legislation. Like the Dems get in there, maybe they're like, all right, well, if you own guns and Bitcoin, you're a fucking felon starting tomorrow or something. Like I don't fucking. But at the end of the day, they didn't protect us, dude. None of these motherfuckers did. The last year, they did not protect us. And again, some governors and mayors did, but from the lockdowns, from the commie revolution, where the fuck were these people? Like, so we're like, oh, we got to fight for these seats. We have to fight for the Supreme Court. We have to fight for this. We have to fight for that. It's like, dude, even when they had power, they didn't use it. They didn't use the frustration.
They basically, is what you're saying, is they basically used us and our enthusiasm for Trump to basically, increase the stranglehold of the establishment.
Bro, the establishment, even the ones that pretend to be
on the carrot stick, basically.
Bro, they're the ones that pretend to be on our side. There's only two ways to look at it. They're either raging cucks or pussies, pansies, cucks, or it was all bullshit. They're traitors. Like it was either all a smokescreen mirage in the desert, or they are spineless cucks. Anyway, it's like take Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney, I think, is just a fucking pansy, and he is a traitor too. But that's like they didn't serve their purpose, dude. Romney is an example, dude. He was marching with BLM, like as they're burning the country down. This fucking cuck is out walking with him. So
did you see the lady go after him at the airport?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't, dude. I saw it yesterday or 2 days ago. It came across my feed, but I didn't watch the video.
This is awesome. She goes after him. She does not back down.
You want to play that shit?
Yeah, let's play that shit.
Let's get a laugh. Let's get a laughing before I start drinking.
Let me make sure the mute's off. There we go. Okay, here we go.
How you doing?
Put your mask on.
Put your mask on.
Don't tell me what to do.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, put your mask on.
I'm standing 6 feet away.
My cross-legged lady get beta mail.
Okay, I'll tell you what, because you know what? I'm going to go ahead and do it because I want to have a chat with you. Why aren't you supporting President Trump?
I do support things President Trump does that I think I agree with.
You're not.
This guy has 2 masks on. He should have 3.
Dude, what a Karen he is.
Such a
Are
Karen.
you going to support him in the fraudulent votes?
The election? No, I'm not.
Why not?
Because it's a long story. I didn't get a chance to read my remarks in Congress. It's going to be a real long
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
It's a long story, but we have a constitution. The constitutional process is clear. I'll follow the constitution, and I'll explain all that when we meet in Congress.
Well, you haven't supported him, and you didn't even support him in the election.
No, I did not.
Why?
For reasons I explained at the time.
You were voted in as a conservative to represent the conservative constituents. Period.
That's not how the Constitution works.
It is. You're voted in to represent us. You work for us. Am I wrong?
I work for the people of Utah.
Exactly. And I am from Utah.
Yes, well, but you're not the only one.
I voted. I know. There's a lot of people that didn't vote for you. We'll make sure of that one.
Of course, I'll be proud. That's totally appropriate.
You admit it. You know it. You know it's coming.
They didn't want you in there anyway. So to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if you weren't even voted in legally.
Trump is a juggernaut. Your legacy is nothing.
You're a joke. Absolute joke. It's a disgusting shame.
Can you imagine a man leading with "Please pull your mask up"? Like what a fucking!
I mean, it just goes to show that
pansy. What a fucking pansy! I've had numerous Karens come after me the last 9 months, but I've never had a dude say shit. Because a dude knows if you poke the wrong bear, you might get fucking choked. So I've never had a dude say anything about a mask, but I've had numerous fucking Karens start shit. The fact he would lead with it, dude, what a fucking pansy. What a pansy. Anyway, yeah, well, he's a perfect example, but he's one of many. We backed the establishment, and the establishment didn't do shit. Like it was either a smokescreen or we're too far gone. So, dude, what the fuck? Where does it go from here, bro? I mean, you tell me what you guys think. I truly,
no doubt. No, you know what? No doubt. I mean, I think you kind of touched base on a little bit, Gus, but there's no doubt that like through the last 3.5 years that we got very complacent. I think we fell back onto the idea that, that, hey, our guys in place, everything's going to be done. It's going to be taken care of. And at the same time, we didn't do enough. And so I think the blame kind of shifts back on us to not continue to point out and push these things that, should be taking place. And we know that it was an uphill battle. We know that for the most part, the swamp in terms of the DC establishment is so deep on the left and right, and because we felt that Trump, the great disruptor in chief, could go to DC and impact that, is that the same people that he aligned with that put him there were the same people who really stabbed him in the back, and that's the Republican Party. And I'm glad that this is coming full circle now, where people that are listening to this live stream, people that are seeing people like Mitt Romney, people that are looking at people like Mitch McConnell, understand this, and we're finally tearing down the fake left-right paradigm that's established in this country forever, that voting Republican or Democrat matters in this country, because it doesn't.
Bro, they're actually trying to blame Trump for Georgia today. Like he told you exactly what the fuck was going to happen. He told you to get the fucking $2,000 out the fucking door. He told you to fucking not give Pakistan money over fucking gender studies program. He told you they're going to try to fucking steal it again. Everything he fucking said happened. And they're like, oh, it's your fault. Like, dude, fuck you. That's what I mean. Like, everyone's like, oh, we lost Georgia. Dude, who gives a fuck? Even when we had Georgia, they're still pulling this shit off. It's like,
no, Mitch McConnell surrendered the Senate.
That's what I mean.
Mitch McConnell himself single-handedly surrendered the Senate to the Dems. He single-handedly, not advocating violent, but it'd be nice to see him taken out and tarred and feathered at this point. Like,
they became fiscal hawks suddenly last week. Like, what the fuck? You've shut the country down. You've enriched the Fortune 500 with money printing, and the Fed balance sheet's out of control. Go down the fucking list, and at the end, the people are fucking starving, and there's fucking food lines in the United States, and the establishment becomes fiscal hawks suddenly. Only for the people, though. Like, think about that. If you're a populist, if you're a Trump fan in Georgia, would you be like, let me get this straight? You just printed how many trillions of dollars, and you won't give me $2 fucking grand? Like, I mean, that's what I mean, dude. It's like everyone's taking fucking crazy pills, man. It's like
it was a clean bill. It was a clean bill that was passed in the House of Representatives. It had support not only from the president, it had overwhelmingly support from the American people that, hey, listen, this was the right thing to do versus giving money to all these foreign countries and doing all this. Let's take care of the people in great need. And Mitch McConnell wouldn't even bring it to a vote. I mean, how telling is that he would not even bring it to a vote in the Senate when you have Republicans that were sitting there screaming, saying, hey, listen, just give us an opportunity to vote on it. And that single-handedly probably just spearheaded and killed any opportunity in Georgia. People are hurting. People are hurting right now. And my gosh, I mean, you want to talk about a huge disconnect from the federal government, and specifically Mitch McConnell. Man, I tell you what, it's so disheartening to see that when there's so many people in need right now.
Dude, you had that's when you had the like libertarians. when AOC and Trump agree on something, or Tulsi and Trump, like, we're living in a fucking alternative universe.
When Bernie Sanders gets up there and promotes a Trump tweet.
That's what I mean. When Bernie loves it, like, we're living in fucking bizarro world. So that's what I mean. Like I said it a couple weeks ago. I'm like, it really is. It's the establishment and they're useful fucking idiots. They're sheep versus the rest of us. That's really what the game comes down to. And it's insane to me, everything they've done the last year. And you get to the finish line on Christmas and you tell the people to go fuck themselves after you fucking cage them up and burn cities down to the ground. Oh, man, it's like I said, so when we start talking about these talking points, the establishment talking points is, oh, we must hold the line here, we must do this, we must do that. It's like, dude, go fuck yourself. Like, you guys, even again, the Supreme Court is the most glaring example. Not hearing the Texas case, it's like, dude, I thought we had 6-3 or 5-4 Roberts, blah blah blah. It's like you still wouldn't listen to shit. It's like, dude, fuck you.
Holy cow! Look at these vehicles that are pulling in with Trump. There's like at least 25 different GMC. No, go ahead.
Trump's going to speak there, huh?
Real quick, did you guys hear about Leonardo and Italy and all the stuff that's happening over there?
No.
Okay, there's something developing over there. I mean, I've heard murmurings last week about Italy. I didn't know what the hell it was all about. Siege, did you listen to that whole entire audio interview? Do you know what do you know how to surmise that? What was happening over there?
I do, and I really made every attempt to try to fact check it. I guess I hate to use that word because they do it on us, but I think
I just said we try to verify.
We try to verify. There's so much disinformation that's out there.
Oh my God, it's the fog of war times 20.
So long story short, whenever I saw what's his name, Anthony Scaramucci, is that the right Scaramucci? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Whenever he tweeted out, all roads lead to Rome.
No, that's George Papadopoulos, man, not Scaramucci.
Oh,
Scaramucci's
okay.
anti-Trump.
Yes,
yeah.
okay.
Scaramucci he's a douchebag. But George Papadopoulos is
right. So he tweeted that out. I'm like, okay, well, that gives it somewhat some credibility if he's looking at this from the information. So apparently, and I can bring up the actual person that's actually on the audio call where she was able to somehow
could you bring that up? If you could bring up the person. The actual person.
Connect with Tiffany Trump and convince Tiffany to, hey, let me get with Donald. Let me share with him. And I believe this was Christmas Eve in regards to the allegations that the MI6, the British intelligence, was cooperating and working with the Italian agencies to basically leverage and utilize a cash payment of, I believe, over $300 or $400 million that was part of the Iranian payoff, and they leveraged those funds to begin the operation to hijack the elections, and they leverage and they use satellites to do that. And so the conversation that takes place and that was released sounds very, very convincing. So long story short, and I'm still going through my email trying to find it. I bounced it off of I didn't get permission to talk about this on the air as far as any type of sources or anything like that. So that's something I probably need to do. But long story short, this is the account of this is the lady. Let me bring it in here right now. Okay, here it comes right now. So this is the account. This is the girl that's actually on the audio recording. She goes by Blue Sky Report. And she's the actual one on the audio recording talking about this, and it's going through a lot of channels, and that yes, Italy did this. So long story short, the person that I reached out to contacted a person they very much trust within the Italian, government, and said, "Hey, listen, is this something happening in the media in Italy? Is this something that's truly being reported on?" And long story short, it couldn't be validated. It couldn't. That doesn't mean that it's not real.
Right.
It just means
there's a lot of things in there that on that specific audio report that I've heard of. I was actually listening to the damn thing when I was working out today, and here's how it goes. The original pallet from the Iranian deal that was 1.5 billion plus cash, I don't know, 1.5 or 15 bill. A good chunk, about 14 pallets of that cash, equaling $400 million. was taken by Obama, and because he met with Matteo Renzi, and Renzi was the last prime minister of Italy before they had the new 5-star and the other basically the populist left and the populist right created a new alliance, and that's what's controlling Italy right now. But Renzi was the old establishment guard. He was linked to Goldman Sachs money. He's a total deep stater. And what they've done is using a defense contractor called Leonardo. And Leonardo, and I forgot the general who heads up Leonardo or sits on the chair of Leonardo, because that general is also heavily involved in the EU as well. And what occurred was some of the votes were coming out. It was going to offshore, again, in Frankfurt, the Spain connections there, and then to Italy via satellite. And the satellite was using a satellite uplink, and it was using it to switch the votes and whatnot. Now, this person has met with Trump. They've met with Rudy. They've met with Mark Meadows. They've met with a lot of people. And the data points of this operation is supposedly in Trump's hands. I don't know to what level. This was a few days ago. So what is going to be exactly spoken about today? Look, there's a lot of this stuff going on. At the end of the day, something massive has to drop. The truth hammer has to drop today. There has to be a changing of the wave occurring. There has to be a changing of the tides, because right now the American public has been so defeated. The morale is so low on those that have voted for Trump, that have gotten behind his movement, that it'll be nice for something to drop today that's going to start beginning the changing of the tide over here, guys. That's basically what this whole entire Italian thing is all about. The Italian media is supposed to be reporting on it as well sometime today. I'm waiting on that. I haven't seen anything as of yet, but this is what's supposedly being discussed. Go ahead, CJ.
Right.
Gus.
Well, yeah, and the challenging part is that one of the YouTube channels that kind of reported on this, and why the information is conflicting, V, is that this Bradley Johnson, and I've looked up his information and can validate that in fact he did serve as a CIA chief of station, retired. But through his conversation that he shares this information, by the way, it's dated, so this, let me see if I can bring up the actual date of it. Gosh darn, it's bringing up in my internet browser, so I'll have to bring it up. So long story short, this was back to like December 12th when he broke this information in regards to Italy. But also, V, through this, he actually debunks everything a bit about Germany and the raid on the server. So that's where I became conflicted, because you and I have pretty much kind of like said that was truthful information, that's known.
Yeah,
it happened.
It's mentioned in a lawsuit.
Well, what Bradley says, this gentleman who's validating the Italian information, says that didn't happen. That's just a myth, basically. I don't take my words out of context. He specifically stated that didn't happen. So then, because then I became conflicted. Okay, wait a minute here. Who's reporting the truth? And again, there's just so much disinformation that's occurring right now, and I don't know. We just need to watch today and see what gets played out and what information comes out.
Is Trump talking yet, CJ?
Let me go to it and look real quick.
Comrade Gus, what is your take?
My take.
Gus is like, I'm gonna start drinking again here pretty soon.
Oh, I have to. Yeah, well, while we've been talking, Bitcoin broke 35 again. Ethereum's at 1,200. Gold is dropping like a fucking rock, down 2-3%, down $50 today. Dude, nothing makes sense anymore. Everything's fucking, yeah. It's, I have to remind myself, and me and Will talked about it briefly yesterday. It's the good news is, if there is good news, it's, we've been preparing for this moment for 12 years since I took my red pill. Like, so whatever happens, if you've been whatever happens the next year, the next month, the next week, today, you've kind of, if you're listening to the show, or you're a libertarian, or you're a prepper, or you're whatever, you've kind of been getting ready for all this. Like that's what I have to remind myself of. Like I was on the phone yesterday for fucking 12 hours making trade calls, working over the weekend, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh yeah, fuck, I forgot. I'm in the business of gold, crypto, and libertarian gun owner prepper, blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh yeah, I'm kind of all ready for this. So the good news is if you're, like-minded one of us, you're already like ready for all this shit. Like it could be worse. I mean, like I said, there are people who are plugged in, blue-pilled or whatever. And dude, they don't have a pot to piss in. They're defaulting on their homes. They're defaulting on their businesses shut down. They're this, they're that, they're that. When I was going off about the $2,000 check, minutes ago or whatever it was, it wasn't for me, dude. It was for those who. And I'm a fucking libertarian. I'm anti money printing, but it's like I realize what's going on around me. Like, and I don't know how the mainstream people, Republicans and Democrats, I'm talking about the people who aren't as dialed in as we are, right? Who don't pay attention to this shit, who aren't in bullion and crypto and fucking ammo and all the rest of it. How are they going to respond to this? How much longer can this go on, man? Like the lockdowns, the closures, the defaults. How much longer can this go on before there's a tipping point? Like, are we because this empires, if they would have pulled this shit off over the course of 20 years, like they did with the surveillance state, and people wouldn't have noticed it. But they have moved so fast the last 10 months on all this shit that people are noticing it. People have noticed it. So how long before the levee breaks, dude? I don't know, man. I do not know. I'm ready for it.
I'm with you, Gus, because like I said, I'm at the point now where daily I'm getting, requests for support, and these are legitimately people who can't put diapers on their kids or can't put food on the table, and that's unfortunately that's becoming real for a lot of people, and it's not that they don't want to work, it's because their jobs have been canceled or shut down, and they're trying everything that they know possible to do this. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, versus sending all this billions of dollars overseas to other countries, shouldn't we for one time in American history stop that and focus on the people here? And again, it wasn't COVID that made the decision to shut down small business. It was legislatures. It was elected people who did that to their communities, and so it was really kind of a slap in the face to those people who are so much in need. I mean, look at the darn food lines that are starting to build across the nation right now, and that's a very unfortunate part. Is that people continue to look at the federal government as a solution, and it's not. It falls back to the local community, but at the same time, to take taxpayer dollars and shift those and give those to other countries during this time period, it's just so unfortunate that it's happening. And
CJ, I'm kind of in the same boat. It's like that my frustration and anger and everything over the course of the last year, for me, it hasn't been for me. The only inconvenience I've had is I haven't been able to go to fucking strip clubs. Like, other than that,
damn it,
I know. Like for me, this has been fucking financially incredible. Like my rage and frustration and the rest of it is for what I see happening to the country. Like that's where all of it comes from. Because I know other people aren't as fortunate. Like I don't. Again, the underlying good news is if you're in our camp, and I don't mean establishment, suburban Republican. I mean like dialed in fucking, prepper, libertarian, Ron Paul, blah, blah. Like you're ready for all this shit. Like it doesn't matter. Like the only thing left on my list to get is night vision. Like, so everything else is covered. I got enough fucking body armor for hookers. Like everything's covered. Everything's checked off everything's checked off the box. So yeah, we've been waiting for this moment. I didn't think living through it's a little bit different than reading about it in other places. Like we've all predicted how this would all play out over like a lot of our mutual friends. We've been talking like newsletters, YouTube guys, people we know, people you guys have had on your show, people I've been doing business with for 5-10 years. we've all talked about how this would look like when it unravels, when the empire collapses, when the dollar collapses, when the hyperinflation hits, when this happens, when that happens. We've all talked about it. Now that we're seeing it, it's fucking insane. Like we've been waiting for this moment. We knew the Federal Reserve would get out of control. We knew that. I didn't think they'd enslave us and everything else. In the Commie Revolution, I didn't think all that would happen, but it has happened. So we're kind of ready for it. So, I don't know what's going to happen today. I have no fucking idea. I have no idea what's going to happen this week or in the next quarter. But if you've been paying attention to you guys, me, other guys like us the last 5 years, 10 years, like you're in a better position than most, if that makes sense. So let's see how it plays out, man. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We're at an inflection point, boys.
We are, and it's surreal to be here documenting it and discussing it. It's it's a strange environment to be in. It really is overall.
Dude, think about.
I'm thankful for my alcohol and cannabis, honestly.
Yeah, well, bro, think about all the shit we've been following, and think about all the people they've purged, dude. Molyneux seems like it was 10 years ago. Like they purged him a few months ago. How long ago did they purge? I don't know.
Oh my gosh, Gavin and Milo were the first to go. I think, right?
Alex Jones, Gavin, Milo, like all these people. I mean, I think Berwick's back up. I don't know. I mean, I haven't talked to Sean. I don't know what the fuck's going on with SGT. Is Dave back up? I don't even fucking know.
They're on their own platforms. They're separate from this, but that's eventually that. I think the realization that we all have to come to is that don't get stuck in one paradigm. Yes, we want to be optimistic. Yes, we want to, see this played out properly. But at the same time, not knowing that, I don't want to see my fellow patriots be the same ones on the videos like the pink-haired girl when Trump won and Clinton lost, screaming on the ground. You guys remember that girl?
No,
you guys remember the girl screaming on the ground?
Dude, it's my favorite meme. I send that YouTube video to everyone. Every time my mom's losing her mind, I send that fucking thing to her. I'm like, you fucking feminist. So no, I feel you, but like, again, what my favorite Ayn Rand quote is. Of all, she's again pretty fucking solid. Of all her quotes, my favorite quote she had was, "You can ignore reality, but you cannot ignore the consequences of ignoring reality," which is fucking brilliant. It's because it's true. People brush off what's actually happening or gonna happen, but you can ignore it. So I could go back to getting drunk on Sunday afternoon watching football, at the sports book, and forget any of this is happening. But you can't ignore the fucking consequences of it. So again, if we fight on, and hopefully everyone's got all their fucking Bitcoin band-aids, bullets, and everything else, and let's see how it plays out. Again, the establishment has let us down. They're useless, and that is, if I've learned anything this year, it's that. And CJ, I think maybe you were ahead of the curve on that one. Like, you haven't had much faith in them all along, where I thought the courts might come through, and I was fucking dead wrong.
Here we go.
Perfect timing. God, what if he said SEAL Team 6 just kicked the door down in Nancy Pelosi's house? I would laugh.
Nice.
Wishful thinking.
Do we have audio?
Audio's there. Sorry, I had the
Okay.
pipe in muted, but it's there now. In part because I'm not a huge country music fan. Just kidding. Just kidding. Okay, now they don't have Trump's mic on. That's not me. There it is. Yeah, they're having tech difficulties. They don't have his mic on.
Media will not show the magnitude of this crowd. Even when I turned on today, I looked and I saw thousands of people here, but you don't see hundreds of thousands of people behind you because they don't want to show that. We have hundreds of thousands of people here, and I just want them to be recognized by the fake news media. Turn your cameras, please, and show what's really happening out here, because these people are not going to take it any longer. They're not going to take it any longer. Go ahead, turn your cameras, please. Would you show? They came from all over the world, actually, but they came from all over our country. I just really want to see what they do. I just want to see how they cover it. I've never seen anything like it, but it would be really great if we could be covered fairly by the media. The media is the biggest problem we have as far as I'm concerned. Single biggest problem. The fake news and the big tech. Big tech is now coming into their own. We beat them 4 years ago. We surprised them. We took them by surprise. And this year, they rigged an election. They rigged it like they've never rigged an election before. And by the way, last night, they didn't do a bad job either, if you notice. I'm honest, and I just, again, I want to thank you. It's just a great honor to have this kind of crowd and to be before you and hundreds of thousands of American patriots who are committed to the honesty of our elections and the integrity of our glorious republic. All of us here today do not want to see our election victory stolen by emboldened radical left Democrats, which is what they're doing, and stolen by the fake news media. That's what they've done and what they're doing. We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's theft involved. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. And that's what this is all about. And to use a favorite term that all of you people really came up with, we will stop the steal. Today, I will lay out just some of the evidence proving that we won this election, and we won it by a landslide. This was not a close election. You know, I say sometimes jokingly, but there's no joke about it. I've been in 2 elections. I won them both, and the second one, I won much bigger than the first, okay? Almost 75 million people voted for our campaign, the most of any incumbent president by far in the history of our country. 12 million more people than 4 years ago. And I was told by the real pollsters, we do have real pollsters, they know that we were going to do well and we were going to win. What I was told, if I went from 63 million, which we had 4 years ago, to 66 million, there was no chance of losing. Well, we didn't go to 66. We went to 75 million, and they say we lost. We didn't lose. And by the way, does anybody believe that Joe had 80 million votes? Does anybody believe that? He had 80 million computer votes. It's a disgrace. There's never been anything like that. You could take third world countries. Just take a look. Take third world countries. Their elections are more honest than what we've been going through in this country. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. Even when you look at last night, they're all running around like chickens with their heads cut off with boxes, and nobody knows what the hell is going on. There's never been anything like this. We will not let them silence your voices. We're not going to let it happen. Not going to let it happen. Thank you. And I'd love to have, if those tens of thousands of people would be allowed, the military, the Secret Service, and we want to thank you, and the police, law enforcement, great, you're doing a great job. But I'd love it if they could be allowed to come up here with us. Is that possible? Can you just let them come up, please? And Rudy, you did a great job. He's got guts. You know what? He's got guts, unlike a lot of people in the Republican Party. He's got guts. He fights. He fights. And I'll tell you, thank you very much, John. Fantastic job. I watched. That's a tough act to follow, those two. John is one of the most brilliant lawyers in the country, and he looked at this and he said, what an absolute disgrace that this could be happening to our Constitution. And he looked at Mike Pence, and I hope Mike is going to do the right thing. I hope so. I hope so. Because if Mike Pence does the right thing, we win the election. All he has to do, this is from the number one, or certainly one of the top constitutional lawyers in our country. He has the absolute right to do it. We're supposed to protect our country, support our Constitution, and protect our Constitution. States want to revote. The states got defrauded. They were given false information. They voted on it. Now they want to recertify. They want it back. All Vice President Pence has to do is send it back to the states to recertify. And we become president, and you are the happiest people. And I just spoke to Mike. I said, Mike, that doesn't take courage. What takes courage is to do nothing. That takes courage. And then we're stuck with a president who lost the election by a lot, and we have to live with that.
I think he said that wrong.
Years. We're just not going to let that happen. Many of you have traveled from all across the nation to be here, and I want to thank you for the extraordinary love. That's what it is. There's never been a movement like this, ever, ever. For the extraordinary love for this amazing country and this amazing movement. Thank you. By the way, this goes all the way back past the Washington Monument. Do you believe this? Look at this. Unfortunately, they gave the press the prime seats. I can't stand that.
Holy cow, look at that crowd.
No, but you look at that behind. I wish they'd flip those cameras and look behind you. Jeez. That is the most amazing sight. When they make a mistake, you get to see it on television. Amazing. Amazing. All the way back. And don't worry, we will not take the name off the Washington Monument. We will not. Cancel culture. You know, they wanted to get rid of the Jefferson Memorial. Either take it down or just put somebody else in there. I don't think that's going to happen. It damn well better not. Although with this administration, if this happens, it could happen. You'll see some really bad things happen. They'll knock out Lincoln too, by the way. They've been taking his statue down. But then we signed a little law. You hurt our monuments. You hurt our heroes. You go to jail for 10 years and everything stopped. You notice that? It stopped. It all stopped. And they could use Rudy back in New York City, Rudy. They could use you. Your city's going to hell. They want Rudy Giuliani back in New York. We'll get a little younger version of Rudy. Is that okay, Rudy? We're gathered together in the heart of our nation's capital for one very, very basic and simple reason: to save our democracy. You know, most candidates on election evening, and of course, this thing goes on so long, they still don't have any idea what the votes are. We still have congressional seats under review. They have no idea. They've totally lost control. They've used the pandemic as a way of defrauding the people in a proper election. But you know, when you see this and when you see what's happening, number one, they all say, sir, we'll never let it happen again. I said, that's good. But what about 8 weeks ago? You know, they try and get you to go. They say, sir, in 4 years, you're guaranteed. I said, I'm not interested right now. Do me a favor. Go back 8 weeks. I want to go back 8 weeks. Let's go back 8 weeks. We want to go back and we want to get this right, because we're going to have somebody in there that should not be in there, and our country will be destroyed, and we're not going to stand for that. For years, Democrats have gotten away with election fraud and weak Republicans, and that's what they are. There's so many weak Republicans, and we have great ones. Jim Jordan and some of these guys, they're out there fighting. The House guys are fighting, but it's incredible. Many of the Republicans, I helped them get in. I helped them get elected. I helped Mitch get elected. I could name 24 of them, let's say. I won't bore you with it. And then all of a sudden you have something like this, and it's like, gee, maybe I'll talk to the president sometime later. No, it's amazing. The weak Republicans, they're pathetic Republicans, and that's what happens. If this happened to the Democrats, there'd be hell all over the country going on. There'd be hell all over the country. But just remember this, you're stronger, you're smarter, you've got more going than anybody, and they try and demean everybody having to do with us. And you're the real people. You're the people that built this nation. You're not the people that tore down our nation. The weak Republicans, and that's it. I really believe it. I think I'm going to use the term, the weak Republicans. You got a lot of them, and you got a lot of great ones, but you got a lot of weak ones. They've turned a blind eye, even as Democrats enacted policies that chipped away our jobs, weakened our military, threw open our borders, and put America last. Did you see the other day where Joe Biden said, I want to get rid of the America First policy? What's that all about? How do you say, I want to get rid of America first? Even if you're going to do it, don't talk about it, right? Unbelievable what we have to go through. What we have to go through, and you have to get your people to fight. And if they don't fight, we have to primary the hell out of the ones that don't fight. You primary them. We're gonna let you know who they are. I can already tell you, frankly. But this year, using the pretext of the China virus and the scam of mail-in ballots, Democrats attempted the most brazen and outrageous election theft. And there's never been anything like this. It's a pure theft in American history. Everybody knows it. That election, our election, was over at 10 o'clock in the evening. We're leading Pennsylvania, Michigan, Georgia, by hundreds of thousands of votes. And then late in the evening or early in the morning, boom, these explosions of bullshit. And all of a sudden, it started to happen. Don't forget when Romney got beat. Romney, did you see his? I wonder if he enjoyed his flight in last night. But when Romney got beat, he stands up like you're more typical. Well, I'd like to congratulate the victor. The victor. Who is the victor, Mitt? I'd like to congratulate. They don't go and look at the facts. No, I don't know. He got slaughtered. Probably. Maybe it was okay. Maybe it was. That's what happened. But we look at the facts. And our election was so corrupt that in the history of this country, we've never seen anything like it. You can go all the way back. You know, America is blessed with elections all over the world. They talk about our elections. You know what the world says about us now? They say we don't have free and fair elections. And you know what else? We don't have a free and fair press. Our media is not free. It's not fair. It suppresses thought. It suppresses speech. And it's become the enemy of the people. It's become the enemy of the people. It's the biggest problem we have in this country. No third world countries would even attempt to do what we caught them doing. And you'll hear about that in just a few minutes. Republicans are constantly fighting like a boxer with his hands tied behind his back. It's like a boxer. And we want to be so nice. We want to be so respectful of everybody, including bad people. And we're going to have to fight much harder. And Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us. And if he doesn't, that will be a sad day for our country, because you're sworn to uphold our Constitution. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them, because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today, we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections, but whether or not they stand strong for our country. Our country. Our country has been under siege for a long time, far longer than this 4-year period. We've set it on a much straighter course, I thought, 4 more years, I thought it would be easy. We created the greatest economy in history. We rebuilt our military. We get you the biggest tax cuts in history, right? We got you the biggest regulation cuts. There's no president, whether it's 4 years, 8 years, or in one case more, got anywhere near the regulation cuts. Used to take 20 years to get a highway approved. Now we're down to 2. I want to get it down to 1, but we're down to 2. And it may get rejected for environmental or safety reasons, but we got it down to safety. We created Space Force. Look at what we did. Our military has been totally rebuilt. So we create Space Force, which by and of itself is a major achievement for an administration. And with us, it's one of so many different things. Right to try. Everybody know about right to try. We did things that nobody ever thought possible. We took care of our vets. Our vets, the VA now has the highest rating, 91%, the highest rating that it's had from the beginning, 91% approval rating. Always you watch the VA, it was on television every night, people living in a horrible, horrible manner. We got that done. We got accountability done. We got it so that now in the VA, you don't have to wait for 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 4 months to see a doctor. If you can't get a doctor, you go outside, you get the doctor, you have them taken care of, and we pay the doctor. And we've not only made life wonderful for so many people, we've saved tremendous amounts of money, far secondarily, but we've saved a lot of money. And now we have the right to fire bad people in the VA. We had 9,000 people that treated our veterans horribly. In prime time, they would not have treated our veterans badly, but they treated our veterans horribly. And we have what's called the VA Accountability Act. And the accountability says, if we see somebody in there that doesn't treat our vets well, or they steal, they rob, they do things badly, we say, Joe, you're fired. Get out of here. Before you couldn't do that. You couldn't do that before. So we've taken care of things. We've done things like nobody's ever thought possible. And that's part of the reason that many people don't like us, because we've done too much. But we've done it quickly, and we were going to sit home and watch a big victory, and everybody had us down for a victory. It was going to be great. And now we're out here fighting. I said to somebody I was going to take a few days and relax after our big electoral victory. 10 o'clock, it was over. But I was going to take a few days. And I can say this, since our election, I believe, which was such a catastrophe when I watched, and even these guys knew what happened. They know what happened. They're saying, wow, Pennsylvania is insurmountable. Wow, Wisconsin. Look at the big leads we had, right? Even though the press said we're going to lose Wisconsin by 17 points. Even though the press said Ohio's going to be close, we set a record. Florida's going to be close, we set a record. Texas is going to be close. Texas is going to be close. We set a record. And we set a record with Hispanic, with the black community. We set a record with everybody. Today we see a very important event, though, because right over there, right there, we see the event going to take place. And I'm going to be watching because history is going to be made. We're going to see whether or not we have great and courageous leaders or whether or not we have leaders that should be ashamed of themselves throughout history, throughout eternity. They'll be ashamed. And you know what? If they do the wrong thing, we should never, ever forget that they did. Never forget. We should never, ever forget. With only 3 of the 7 states in question, we win the presidency of the United States. And by the way, it's much more important today than it was 24 hours ago because, I spoke to David Perdue, what a great person, and Kelly Loeffler, 2 great people, but it was a setup. And you know, I said, we have no backline anymore. The only backline, the only line of demarcation, the only line that we have is the veto of the President of the United States. So this is now what we're doing, a far more important election than it was 2 days ago. I want to thank the more than 140 members of the House. Those are warriors. They're over there working like you've never seen before, studying, talking, actually going all the way back, studying the roots of the Constitution, because they know we have the right to send a bad vote that was illegally gotten. They gave these people bad things to vote for, and they voted because what did they know? And then when they found out a few weeks later, again, it took them 4 years to devise this screen. And the only unhappy person in the United States, single most unhappy, is Hillary Clinton, because she said, why didn't you do this for me 4 years ago? Why didn't you do this for me 4 years ago? Change the votes, 10,000 in Michigan. You could have changed the whole thing, but she's not too happy. You notice you don't see her anymore. What happened? Where's Hillary? Where is she? But I want to thank all of those congressmen and women. I also want to thank our 13 most courageous members of the U.S. Senate, Senator Ted Cruz, Senator Ron Johnson, Senator Josh Hawley, Kelly Loeffler. And Kelly Loeffler, I'll tell you, she's been so great. She worked so hard. So let's give her and David a little special hand because it was rigged against them. Let's give her and David, Kelly Loeffler, David Perdue. They fought a good race. They never had a shot. That equipment should never have been allowed to be used. And I was telling these people, don't let them use this stuff. Marcia Blackburn, terrific person. Mike Braun, Indiana. Steve Daines, great guy. Bill Haggerty, John Kennedy, James Langford, Cynthia Lumps, Tommy Tuberville, to the coach, and Roger Marshall. We want to thank them. Senators that stepped up, we want to thank them. I actually think, though, it takes, again, more courage not to step up. And I think a lot of those people are going to find that out. And you better start looking at your leadership because your leadership has led you down the tubes. You know, we don't want to give $2,000 to people. We want to give them $600. Oh, great. How does that play politically? Pretty good. And this has nothing to do with politics. But how does it play politically? China destroyed these people. We didn't destroy them. China destroyed them. Totally destroyed them. We want to give them $600. And they just wouldn't change. I said, give them $2,000. We'll pay it back. We'll pay it back fast. You already owe $26 trillion. Give them a couple of bucks. Let them live. Give them a couple of bucks. And some of the people here disagree with me on that, but I just say, look, you got to let people live. And how does that play, though? Okay, number one, it's the right thing to do. But how does that play politically? I think it's the primary reason, one of the primary reasons. The other was just pure cheating. That was the primary, super primary reason. But you can't do that. You got to use your head. As you know, the media has constantly asserted the outrageous lie that there was no evidence of widespread fraud. You ever see these people? While there is no evidence of fraud, oh, really? Well, I'm going to read you pages. I hope you don't get bored listening to it. Promise? Don't get bored listening to it. All those hundreds of thousands of people back there. Move them up, please. Yeah. All these people, don't get bored. Don't get angry at me because you're going to get bored because it's so much. The American people do not believe the corrupt fake news anymore. They have ruined their reputation. But, you know, it used to be that they'd argue with me. I'd fight. So I'd fight, they'd fight, I'd fight, they'd fight. Pop, pop. You'd believe me, you'd believe them. Somebody comes out, you know, they had their point of view, I had my point of view. But you'd have an argument. Now what they do is they go silent. It's called suppression. And that's what happens in a communist country. That's what they do. They suppress. You don't fight with them anymore unless it's a bad story. If they have a little bad story about me, they make it 10 times worse and it's a major headline. But Hunter Biden, they don't talk about him. What happened to Hunter? Where's Hunter? Where's Hunter? They don't talk about him. Now watch, all the sets will go off. Well, they can't do that because they get good ratings. The ratings are too good. Now, where's Hunter? You know, and how come Joe was allowed to give $1 billion of money to get rid of the prosecutor in Ukraine? How does that happen? I'd ask you that question. How does that happen? Can you imagine if I said that? If I said that, it would be a whole different ballgame. And how come Hunter gets $3.5 million from the mayor of Moscow's wife and gets hundreds of thousands of dollars to sit on an energy board, even though he admits he has no knowledge of energy, and millions of dollars up front? And how come they go into China and they leave with billions of dollars to manage? Have you managed money before? No, I haven't. Oh, that's good. Here's about $3 billion. No, they don't talk about that. No, we have a corrupt media. They've gone silent. They've gone dead. I now realize how good it was. If you go back 10 years, I realize how good, even though I didn't necessarily love him, I realized how good. It was like a cleansing motion, right? But we don't have that anymore. We don't have a fair media anymore. It's suppression. And you have to be very careful with that. And they've lost all credibility in this country. We will not be intimidated into accepting the hoaxes and the lies that we've been forced to believe. Over the past several weeks, we've amassed overwhelming evidence about a fake election. This is the presidential election. Last night was a little bit better because of the fact that we had a lot of eyes watching one specific state, but they cheated like hell anyway. You have one of the dumbest governors in the United States. And you know, when I endorsed him, I didn't know this guy. At the request of David Perdue, he said, a friend of mine's running for governor. What's his name? And you know the rest. He was in 4th place, 5th place. I don't know. He was doing poorly. I endorsed him. He went like a rocket ship and he won. And then I had to beat Stacey Abrams with this guy, Brian Kemp. I had to beat Stacey Abrams. And I had to beat Oprah. Used to be a friend of mine. You know, I was on her last show, or last week. She picked the 5 outstanding people. I don't think she thinks that anymore. Once I ran for president, I didn't notice there were too many calls coming in from Oprah. Believe it or not, she used to like me, but I was one of the 5 outstanding people. And I had a campaign against Michelle Obama and Barack Hussein Obama against Stacey. And I had Brian Kemp. He weighs 130 pounds. He said he played offensive line in football. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm still trying to figure that out. Said that the other night. I was an offensive lineman. I'm saying, really? That must have been a very small team. But I look at that and I look at what's happened, and he turned out to be a disaster. This stuff happens. You know, look, I'm not happy with the Supreme Court. They love to rule against me. I picked 3 people. I fought like hell for him. One in particular, I fought. They all said, "Sir, cut him loose. He's killing us." Senators, you know, very loyal senators. They're very loyal people. "Sir, cut him loose. He's killing us, sir. Cut him loose, sir." I must have gotten half of the senators. I said, "No, I can't do that. It's unfair to him and it's unfair to the family. He didn't do anything wrong. They're made up stories. They're all made up stories. He didn't do anything wrong. Cut him loose, sir." I said, "No, I won't do that." We got him through. And you know what? They couldn't give a damn. They couldn't give a damn. Let him rule the right way. But it almost seems that they're all going out of their way to hurt all of us and to hurt our country. To hurt our country. You know, I read a story in one of the newspapers recently, how I control the 3 Supreme Court justices. I control them. They're puppets. I read it about Bill Barr, that he's my personal attorney, that he'll do anything for me. And I said, you know, it really is genius, because what they do is that, and it makes it really impossible for them to ever give you a victory, because all of a sudden Bill Barr changed, if you hadn't noticed. I like Bill Barr, but he changed because he didn't want to be considered my personal attorney. And the Supreme Court, they rule against me so much. You know why? Because the story is, I haven't spoken to any of them, since virtually they got in. But the story is that they're my puppet, right? That they're puppets. And now the only way they can get out of that, because they hate that, it's not good on the social circuit, and the only way they get out is to rule against Trump. So let's rule against Trump. And they do that, so I want to congratulate them. But it shows you the media is genius. In fact, probably if I was the media, I'd do it the same way. I hate to say it. But we got to get them straightened out. Today, for the sake of our democracy, for the sake of our Constitution, and for the sake of our children, we lay out the case for the entire world to hear. Do you want to hear it? In every single swing state, local officials, state officials, almost all Democrats, made illegal and unconstitutional changes to election procedures without the mandated approvals by the state legislatures. That these changes paved the way for fraud on a scale never seen before. And I think we can go a long way outside of our country when I say that. So just in a nutshell, you can't make a change on voting for a federal election unless the state legislature approves it. No judge can do it. Nobody can do it. Only a legislature. So as an example, in Pennsylvania or whatever, you have a Republican legislature, you have a Democrat mayor, and you have a lot of Democrats all over the place. They go to the legislature laughs at them, says, we're not going to do that. They say, thank you very much. And they go and make the changes themselves. They do it anyway. And that's totally illegal. That's totally illegal. You can't do that. In Pennsylvania, the Democrat Secretary of State and the Democrat State Supreme Court justices illegally abolished the signature verification requirements just 11 days prior to the election. So think of what they did. No longer is there signature verification. Oh, that's okay. We want voter ID, by the way. But no longer is there signature verification. 11 days before the election, they say, we don't want it. You know why they don't want it? Because they want to cheat. That's the only reason. Who would even think of that? We don't want to verify a signature. There were over 205,000 more ballots counted in Pennsylvania. Now think of this. You had 205,000 more ballots than you had voters. That means you had 200. Where did they come from? You know where they came from? Somebody's imagination, whatever they needed. So in Pennsylvania, you had 205,000 more votes than you had voters. And the number's actually much greater than that now. That was as of a week ago. And this is a mathematical impossibility unless you want to say it's a total fraud. So Pennsylvania was defrauded. Over 8,000 ballots in Pennsylvania were cast by people whose names and dates of birth match individuals who died in 2020 and prior to the election. Think of that. Dead people. Lots of dead people, thousands. And some dead people actually requested an application. That bothers me a bit more. Not only are they voting, they want an application to vote. One of them was 29 years ago died. It's incredible. Over 14,000 ballots were cast by out-of-state voters. So these are voters that don't live in the state. And by the way, these numbers are what they call outcome determinative, meaning these numbers far surpass. I lost by a very little bit. These numbers are massive, massive. More than 10,000 votes in Pennsylvania were illegally counted, even though they were received after Election Day. In other words, they were received after Election Day. Let's count them anyway. And what they did in many cases is they did fraud. They took the date and they moved it back so that it no longer is after Election Day. And more than 60,000 ballots in Pennsylvania were reported received back. They got back before they were ever supposedly mailed out. In other words, you got the ballot back before you mailed it, which is also logically and logistically impossible, right? Think of that one. You got the ballot back. Let's send the ballots. Oh, they've already been sent. But we got the ballot back before they were sent. I don't think that's too good, right? 25,000 ballots in Pennsylvania were requested by nursing home residents, all in a single giant batch, not legal, indicating an enormous illegal ballot harvesting operation. You're not allowed to do it. It's against the law. The day before the election, the state of Pennsylvania reported the number of absentee ballots that had been sent out. Yet this number was suddenly and drastically increased by 400,000 people. It was increased, nobody knows where it came from, by 400,000 ballots one day after the election. It remains totally unexplained. They said, well, we can't figure that. Now, that's many, many times what it would take to overthrow the state. Just that one element. 400,000 ballots appeared from nowhere right after the election. By the way, Pennsylvania has now seen all of this. They didn't know because it was so quick. They had to vote. They voted. But now they see all this stuff. It's all come to light.
Totally rude of me to interrupt the president, but we're jumping over to the new stream that's on YouTube. It's called Patriots Day, Fight to Save Our Republic. So we're cutting this stream right now, and please bounce over. Apologize for the inconvenience. So we'll see you over there.